Aloha kako, and welcome to Hands Are Not for Hitting, brought to you by Zonta of Hilo. It's so wonderful that you tuned in to find out how to make your reading even more special and exciting than it already is. And Zonta is very pleased because we have two very young, talented young people, young ladies of Hilo, who are here to help us teach you how to bring some excitement and joy to your reading. So before we go too farther, I want to introduce the Advocacy Committee Chair from Zonta, and that's Charlene Iboshi. Give us a wave, Charlene. And Gabriela Cabanas was also very involved in Zonta, and this project has particular close to her heart. So we appreciate them being here. They're the cheerleaders. That's their official job. Okay. Without further ado, I'm going to ask our two young guests to introduce themselves, and we'll start with Aspen, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Aspen Taylor Hano. I'm your Miss Elementary America 6th grade. I am 12 years old. I attend Kekula Onavihio Kalani Opu'u. I play competitive volleyball. My favorite book is Spaghetti in a Hot Dog Bun. It's an anti-bullying campaign. Oh, it's an anti-bully book.
Lovely. Oh, mahalo nui no kela mauma na o mai ka'i. Appreciate you very much. And let's go to our next guest, and this is Skyly. Aloha, Skyly.
Hi, my name is Skyly Hiraki. I am 11 years old and I attend EBD Silva Elementary School. I like to do gymnastics, singing, and dancing. My favorite book is Bedtime Stories for Rebel Girls. And my experience during performing is dancing and singing on stage.
Lovely. Now, see, didn't we tell you that we had some sparks here? We sure do. Now, Zonta has been doing this work with the Hands Are Not for Hitting series for almost 10 years, and it's been exciting. And in the old style way of things, members of Zonta would go into classrooms or go to groups that were gathered to read the books to the young people. Now that we're in the modern age, we are trying to move forward and experiment with new things, especially our fearless leader, Charlene, has marvelous ideas. So we thought by adding to the wealth of knowledge about how to read, that we could supplement all the good work that Zonta has been doing in the schools. The very first book, Hands Are Not for Hitting, is exactly the kind of template that sets the mood for the whole series. There are 4, 5, 6, 7 books actually. We'll be dealing with 4 today. This one is so charming and sweet, and you'll be able to tell as we look at this one closely what the age level is, right? Remember Captain Honolulu? We used to do that with our hands when we were kids. Yeah. Hands are not for hitting. Oh, see, we've got people who can do it still. So it starts right off. Hands come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. Hands can do lots of things. Can you wave yours? Yes, we've got everybody waving. So you'll notice as we go through the book that there's things that the listeners can do. Hands are not for hitting. What are hands for? We've got an example right there. Ta-da! Drawing. And you'll notice too that we've got Spanish on the bottom because the books have been translated to Spanish, and ako mai lako. Maybe very soon we'll be able to translate unuhi iko lalo Hawaii ke kahi. Hands are for playing. Itsy bitsy spider. For building. Hands are not for hitting. What are hands for? Eating and drinking. Even the donkey is doing the same. Dressing. And here, peekaboo, undressing. Keeping safe. Yeah, they're right at the corner of the street with the stop sign. Holding on there, yes? Taking care. We've got to brush our teeth and wash our hands. And hands are not for hitting. What are hands for? Helping and hugging. Oh, two good choices. Waving goodbye. Let me see all of you wave, even though we're not saying goodbye. How would you do it? Yeah. And what I love is that in the back of the books are suggestions that anyone who's reading might be able to do. My favorite are the ones for reducing anger and frustration. Do a mad dance. Breathe in and blow out. Clapping hands. Squishing dough or clay, when you're upset. Yeah. Drawing a mad picture and then what? Tearing it up. Jumping up and down. And then finally yelling into a pillow. Good ways that hands can be used in a positive way. Now, Zonta supports any kind of activity that will teach our young people that violence isn't the choice. So alternatives are always given. So now what you've been waiting for, let's have a little drum roll. We are going to start with feet are not for kicking. And the way we're going to do it is that our two stars here are going to read it through. They've been assigned a part. And they are going to read it through the first time. And what they are going to do is use their voices expressively, build excitement when reading. They'll use their voices for emphasis, and they'll create characters that are fun and interesting. That's what we're hoping to do for everyone. So we will start with feet are not for kicking. And the girls now will read through it. And then the second time through, we're going to play around with possibilities. So without further ado, I introduce Aspen and Skyly with Feet Are Not for Kicking. Please go ahead.
Feet are not for kicking. Look at those feet. Oh, sorry. My bad.
No problem.
By Elizabeth Burdick.
It's always nice to tell who the author is, right? And she wrote most of the books. Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
Look at those feet.
Aren't they sweet?
10 little toes, all in a row.
Let's count. 1, 2, 3.
What are feet for?
Walking, standing,
Leaping and landing,
running,
jumping
climbing.
and pumping.
Feet are not for kicking people.
Ouch, kicking hurts.
Ow!
If you want to kick,
What can you kick?
a big ball
A little ball?
or leaves in the fall.
If someone kicks you, what can you do?
Feet are not for kicking people.
Ouch!
Kicking hurts.
Look at those feet. Aren't they sweet?
Wiggle them around,
10 little toes.
all in a row.
Feet are not for kicking someone.
Feet are for fun.
Feet are fun.
And we want a round of applause. Now, they're already expressive, aren't they? And most of us are when we read to children particularly. But we're also going to now play around with possibilities of how we can be even more expressive, even more possibilities can happen. And here we are with our guide sheet that will show us possibilities. Now you can see the young women still, and what we have here is the sheet. All the green information will be what we're going to be working on. So we're going to start right off at the beginning. When you look at the lines, ask yourself, what words are most important? Yeah? So we've got Aspen as the first one. In that first line, which do you think are the most important words? Aspen, are there words in that look at those feet that you like best?
Yes. Look at the feet. That's most important because you're looking at those feet.
So you're emphasizing the look, right? And the feet.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So say the line again with those two words with a lot of emphasis. Go ahead.
Look at those feet.
Excellent. Okay. Now we'll go over through the blue line here is Skyly's. And what does sweet sound like? Now that sounds funny, doesn't it? But we have an idea when we say the word sweet, that it's special. It's not like an everyday kind of thing, right? So when you say it this time, Skyly, I want you to do something special with the word sweet. Go ahead and try it.
Aren't they sweet?
Oh, she had a little a little lilt to her voice. Wonderful. Now, what they are doing is adding texture and interest to it. So that's what the young listeners are going to be hearing, and that reinforces it for them. Okay, now let's continue. No directions for a while. We'll continue until we have more directions. So, Aspen, pick up with 10 little toes.
10 little toes, all in a row.
Let's count. 1, 2, 3.
And you can hear the enthusiasm in their voices too, right? Go ahead.
What are feet for?
Walking, standing.
And now we've got a special combination. Now, onomatopoeia is an interesting word. It's when the word sounds like what you're doing. How you say it sounds like what it is. So you've got leaping and landing. So let's have leaping sound like you're taking a big lunge and landing as though you're hitting your place. Let's try that, Aspen.
Leaping and landing.
Good. You can feel that she settled in and the leap was full of action. Now continue until we get up to the top of the second column.
Running,
Jumping
climbing,
and pumping.
And that was pushing somebody on the swing, right? Now, if you were trying to climb, let's all three of us do together. Imagine that you have to put your hand on the wall and you're trying to climb, so you have to struggle a little bit. Let's say the word climbing as though we're struggling. 1, 2, 3.
climbing.
Yes. Excellent. So that's also onomatopoeia because you give the feeling of the meaning. Okay, and let's continue.
Feet are not for kicking people.
Ouch! Kicking hurts.
Ow!
Weren't they great? You could feel the ouch. You can hear the dog howling. Now, at the top there, if you want to kick, I want you to sound like you are kicking. Please, Aspen.
If you want to kick,
What can you kick?
a big ball,
A little ball.
Excellent. You see, they're doing it already, changing the pitch in their voice to give a sense of the word.
or leaves in the fall.
Now it's your turn, Skyly. Which of the words in this part you think you should emphasize because they're the most important ideas?
I believe someone kicks you is very important.
Okay, so go ahead and do it with that real emphasis on those words.
If someone kicks you, what can you do?
Lovely. Okay, and continue.
Feet are not for kicking people.
Ouch!
Kicking hurts.
Look at those feet. Aren't they sweet?
Now we're going to play with pitch. Yeah, so Aspen, you get to change your pitch. So that's how high, low, middle, or way down low you want to go. You decide for this wiggle them around.
Wiggle them around.
Good. Okay. Now rhythm has to do with feeling the panna, right? The movement, the music in the line. So 10 little toes. Go ahead and come up with a rhythm, Skyly, when you read it.
10 little toes.
Nice. Da, 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 da. All right. Now, separation of beats is almost like each one of the words is on a beat. So as when you do it that time, each one is going to have a little bit of attention, so you don't rush through it. Go ahead and try it.
All in a row.
Lovely, because you feel like it's a row, don't you? So the picture starts to take shape now as you're reading. Okay, Skyly?
Feet are not for kicking someone.
Feet are
Feet
for fun.
are fun.
And let's have both of you say it together. 1, 2, 3.
Feet
Feet
are for fun.
are for fun.
It's always hard on Zoom, but that's the idea is you have layers. So you as the reader might be somebody who would have all the children say it with you. Okay? That would be one way to layer. Now, I added some action there because you don't just have to read. You can add sounds. So I'm going to have ad-lib cheers and happy sounds. So let's read that last line and do some cheers and laughter afterward. One more time. 1, 2, 3.
Feet
Are for fun.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Already you're seeing the possibilities. And when you have these talented people to guide you, watch out, world. Okay, we're going to share the screen again. We're going to move right on to our next one. And our next one is called Voices Are Not for Yelling. Ooh, now we know this one. Let's see what's happening. Now we're getting a little bit more, what is the word, complex in how we're doing this. So the way the young stars here have been assigned changes things up a little bit. We'll see it's a little bit more challenging. So let's, without going any further, let's dive in.
You have voices
Are
not
for Yelling
yelling.
That's right.
by Elizabeth Verdict.
Now, what we're going to do before we begin is we're going to practice a stage yell, okay? Because the whole idea is to spend some time maybe talking to the young people what's an inside voice and what's an outside voice, because that's what this book is all about. So you could wait for it at the end, but for you as the reader, we want you to think about that right now. So when you're out in the playground or you're out in the park, when you're doing your sports and all that, you have huge distances to fill, right? And the
Yes.
opposite, of course, is when you're inside, you're encased, and if it's too loud, it blows out everybody's ears and makes everybody all confused. Yeah. Now, of course, on Zoom, one of the problems we have is when you yell, it kind of cancels out. So we're going to do what we call a stage yell to make it sound like you're yelling on Zoom. So we get the sense of yelling without blowing out the computer. So the idea is that you kind of put a little whisper over the yell. All right. So I'm going to say no, and I'm going to do I'll do a real no first yell, and then you'll hear the stage yell. No! Okay, that's not the greatest thing on Zoom. But if you want to do it, so for effectiveness, you put that little whisper over, no! So you notice, of course, I moved my head, and I gave some interpretation. So it's a yell that sounds like it's crazy, but it's still workable. All right, let's continue then. And here the black lines are said by both of our stars here.
You yelling in here?
That's good. It worked because my hubby just walked in and said, "You yelling in here?" That's what the book is about. So here we are. Voices are not for yelling. And it starts with the indoor voice. Go ahead, Aspen.
You have an indoor voice. It's quiet.
Okay,
Try it.
I want you to do it. Read that line with a very small indoor voice.
Okay. You have an indoor voice. It's quiet.
Yeah, do you see there's a soothing quiet to her voice? Do the next one.
You have an outdoor voice. It's loud.
All right. Did you? Wow, it was brassy, right? Okay, continue, please, Skyly.
Sometimes you use your outside voice inside.
Because you feel excited.
Okay. Now,
Or
with
you feel
out and
mad.
inside, do you see that? Let's go back to that out and inside. When you have little clues like that in a story, the writer is telling you to do something special with that. So even in the book, it says outside and inside. You notice how the lines are? If you look at the book, it does indeed do that. Where right there, you can see that the in and out are italicized. That means you got to do something special with them. So let's go ahead and do that, Skyly. Do special something with out and in on those words.
Sometimes you use your outdoor voice.
No problem. Go ahead and try.
Sometimes you use your outside voice inside.
Perfect. And we got that emphasis there. Very well done. And Aspen?
Because you feel excited.
Now, and
Or you feel mad.
oh, now things are changing because you feel mad, huh? Okay. And continue.
And you really want to be heard.
So I love, by the way, I have to say, this is not mentioned on this, but your pronunciation for both of you, excellent. I hear every word, and you put all of your consonants where they need to be. So there's such clarity. So I'm going to do this, give you a pat in the back. Let's continue now. Aspen, please.
But voices are not for yelling.
Yelling hurts our ears.
Yellings hurt our hearts.
Oh. Now, I asked that when you're thinking about something yelling and they say ears, that you actually, as the reader, cover your ears too. You'll probably be holding a book in one. That's right, Auntie Gabriella, covering your ears. And what will happen is your listeners will probably do the same thing, won't they? Yeah? And then hurting your heart. We always talk about our feelings being here in our hearts. So that's something the reader could do as well. Now, continue on. We're going to start with Skyly, and then notice the black is coming up. So what's going to happen? You're both going to do that odd kind of yell. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Skyly.
Use an intervoice so people hear the words and not the yelling.
Yeah. Yeah. And you could even set it up with the listeners that when you pointed them, like you would say, when I say the word words, I'm going to point at you and you repeat it after me. So that could reinforce it with them. So let's pretend I'm pointing at Auntie Charlene and Auntie Gabriella. You folks read it and I'll point at them and they'll say it in their mime right there. One more time, please, Skyly.
Use an intervoice so people hear the words and not the yelling.
Good. And then you could probably practice that hushed yelling with everybody there. All right. And look again at these beautiful drawings that are in the book. And you may have noticed too that the children in the books are of different ethnicities. That's also a good point. All right, the next one. This is how to quiet your voice.
This is how you quiet your voice. Take a deep breath in, then slowly blow them out.
Okay, now she did it exactly. She added the action with the words. Very good, Aspen. And then we continue. Now we're going to go back and forth here, so I'm not going to interrupt. But we want to stretch the words. Calms down. We want to stretch it as though they're taffy pulling out like bubble gum. Okay, we start with Skyly, please.
In and out.
Out and in.
Until your body calms down.
Calm down.
That's a hard one, huh? Let's try the in and out until your body comes down. So see what's happening. The teacher there is trying to get the young person to calm down. So she's trying to get him to breathe too. So let's do the body calming down as though we're all calming down. So go ahead and read the lines again, and I'll join you on body calms down.
Body calms down.
Okay, and let's start with in and out and in until your body comes down.
In and out.
Out and in.
Until your
Body
calms down.
down. Yeah, so it's like very good. And continue, please.
Now it's time to use your words.
I am mad. I need help.
Oh, that angry voice. One more time, Skyly, and let's get that angry voice, even though that person is expressing how they're feeling. We want the sense of the anger's there too, so we believe it. Okay, go ahead. Do the I am mad again, please.
I am mad. I need help.
Yes. Now, see, it's important that we recognize that the child is really not feeling good, right? It's not bad to feel that way, but we have to tell them there are different choices. So I need help. So that was really, we got the sense that Scotty was mad, right? But asking for help is the answer. Go ahead, Aspen.
Thank you for using your words. I'm here to listen.
Oh, and of course we get a smile with that. Yay. Now everybody says voices
Voices are not
for
yelling.
Mhm.
They're for talking,
Laughing
helping.
and saying,
I love you.
Yay, applause again, applause again. Okay. So in this instance, it was a little bit more complex in how they went back and forth and everything too, right? If you're working with older children, perhaps there are books that they could all be looking at too, or sharing in partners or groups. And you could actually divvy up the script that way so that they could read it the same way that Skyly and Aspen are doing. It kind of makes it exciting. And you know what? Then it's never forgotten. Yeah, it's experience. We call it affective learning. They're learning with emotions, with emotions. Okay, we got our last book coming up. And you notice how we went from feet to voices, and now we go to words. Words. I'll mention what some of the others are because after we're done with this one, because they seem to be in response to what we just went through in the past couple years. Yeah, frustrations that young people were feeling. But let's deal with the words first. So we're going to share the screen again, and we're going to do that same wonderful system. Now I use yellow here to let the young ladies know that they have to emphasize those words. Now I'm going to take a step back and let them follow the directions. We're going to take a moment to see when I put that green there. These are called life sounds. Anytime you want to add a life sound to bring something to life, the way we do in life, talking to somebody, oh, yeah, I thought about that. That's a life sound. We do that in real life, yeah? Anything that sounds like what human beings really do is what you want to add. Sometimes you go, oh, you add a gasp. Or sometimes you kind of, as you're thinking, all of that is considered life sounds. You can always add that. So I put life sounds there. That first direction is the home is a life sound. You notice we've got some barks. When it says ad lib, that means you make up names. When we get there, we can all make up names. And then say words in a musical fashion, as though you're singing them, kind of, sort of, right? Okay, that's what that direction would be. Volume, we all know what that means. Duration means the length of something. You want to stretch it out. Now, sibilants are, you hear my strong S's? In that line, you have a lot of those S's. So rather than trying not to do them, make them strong because the writer put them there for a reason. Yeah? So make the S's in that line really strong. Now, the next green direction says a giggle or sigh. So what is that? That means after those words I love you are said, that there's a reaction. So you could always put in a reaction. The next green instruction is to say it choppy with anger. Okay? The top of the next page here, the ad lib, is you're adding words. Okay? Then a little bit later, say ouch or owie and so forth as we go through. Now, these young ladies are so seasoned and so good. We're going to go through this and I'm just going to let them respond to some of the green that's there. So take your time, Skyly and Aspen. Look at the green before you say your line. Or if you feel like you're ready to dive in, just dive in when you're ready. And Antipua is going to zip up her mouth and just enjoy you. Except maybe on the black parts I have to open my mouth because they're too much fun. Okay. Again, the same beautiful drawings are in the book. We've got some interesting pictures of adults in this one. The dog, too, has thoughts. There's a lot of scenarios that look like everyday situations that children are in. Of course, playgrounds and relationships between adults and children. Even children showing affection for each other. Those types of things. They're, a weeping child. So wonderful, clear, beautiful expressions of the thought. So without further ado, zip.
Words are not for hurting by Elizabeth Burdick. You know lots of words.
Who listens when you talk?
Your family, your friends, your teachers, many people.
And pets too.
How do you use your words? Say your name and ask for help.
And you can say your names here.
My name is Aspen.
Hey. Skyly.
And my name is Skyly.
Antipua. All the names. Good.
Or sing a song.
Some of your words are loud.
And some of your words are soft.
Yeah, we
Whisper,
heard that.
whisper, whisper.
So you
Words
actually
are
can
kind.
and whisper, 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 whisper. I think that's actually in the book. And when I say texture of swirling words, it's as if the words are swirling all around you. So let's try that with both Aspen and Taylor. Let's, I mean, Aspen and Skyly, let's have the words as though they're in the air around us. 1, 2, 3. Whisper, whisper, whisper,
Whisper, whisper, whisper.
whisper, whisper. You could even grab at them as though they're swirling around you. Yeah? And let's continue now with some of your words are kind.
Some of your words are kind.
Oh.
I
I
love
love
you.
you. But some of them are not. Go away.
Words are not for hurting.
Words are not for hurting. Uh-oh. No,
Uh-oh.
no.
No.
What do harmful words do?
They hurt our ears.
They hurt our
Ouch.
feelings.
Oh, oh, oh. Go ahead and do the hurt our feelings again with the pouty voice, please. I was doing too many uh-ohs.
They hurt our feelings.
Ow.
And Skyly, you can do this instead.
You can do this instead.
Think before you speak. La 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 la.
And keep hurtful words to yourself.
If the words come out before you can stop them, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
2 other words need to be said. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Those 2 little words,
Can be a big help.
words are not for hurting.
Words are for helping.
That's better. Ow!
Aren't they marvelous? Marvelous, marvelous, yeah? So we have 11-year-old Skyly, and how old are you, Aspen?
I just turned 12 years old.
You just turned 12. Now, if an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old can do such wonderful things with reading, so can you. So we want to urge you to think of the possibilities. I did say I was going to mention the other ones. There's teeth are not for biting. That's a definite problem, right? There is calm down time. And then finally, really in response to the pandemic, worries are not forever. So Zonta has been wonderful, and other organizations in the community have been wonderful in providing books to various institutions, schools, and organizations. And now with this helpful thing, both Aspen and Skyly will be the stars of bringing the books to life. You did a fine job, young ladies. What did you think about going through this? How do you feel about using your voices this way?
I think going through these activities, I've learned to adjust my voice and express to keep our listeners engaged. I also think the lessons we learned are all ages, all great ages, from keiki to kupuna.
Polole, ikewawe kela. I agree with you. 150%. Lovely. Skyly, what do you think?
I believe I have learned to read a book a whole different way now, and I can present to anyone, and I can use all of these lessons, and I can put that in the story.
Piha kana'au. I'm up to here. This is the hope of the future, folks. You know, our big island is doing very well. We have such talented, eloquent young women here. And hopefully someday they're going to sign up for Zonta. So we thank you for being a part of this today. I want to go do a cartwheel right now because it was lovely what you did. You made our dream come true of showing people that it just takes the right attitude and the use of what you were given, your gifts, your voice, your gestures, your expression, to bring these stories to life. So I say mahalo nui, and watch for this. We're going to have it posted probably on our Zonta site, Zonta of Hilo. Watch for our name. Watch for all the activities we do in Hilo that support women, help women advance, young women too, and try to teach the world that the answer is peace. working together this way. So on the count of three, we're going to say aloha together, and I'm going to throw kisses to you folks because it's been marvelous. 1, 2, 3. Aloha.
Aloha.
Ahilo, e malama, e ho'omau me ka helu helu. Keep on reading. Keep on reading. Aloha.